Hi, folks. Rolla here. Let me bring my friend Anthony on.
Hey, everybody.
We're live. Good thing these people that watch this podcast know that I fuck up all the time. I fucked up the opening again. Anyway,
Didn't fuck up.
Eddie,
It was fine.
Eddie won't be on, our thoroughbred trainer. He's got the flu. Joe will be a couple of minutes late.
Yeah, so you're stuck with us for now.
I think his father is in the
Rehab,
and he's probably just getting back from there. So it's me and you. I don't want to talk about the progress I made until everybody's on. So the progress I made with the cool cat, with that whole thing we've been working on. So I won't say nothing about that because I'll only have to repeat it 3 or 4 times.
the roller cap.
Yeah, the roller cap, the cool cap. This guy that I met last night, yesterday, was very, very, very sharp kid. I may revolutionize that whole blinker business.
I hope so.
It won't be hard to do.
Well,
it wouldn't be hard to do. If I tell you, and I will tell you, but I don't want to say it now because then I have to repeat it to everybody.
Yeah, no, wait, Joe will be on soon. You're due for another big win, Larry.
Oh, this will happen. It'll happen.
No, I know it will.
I just have to last between this.
Yeah, you'll last. Who you kidding?
The pain, the sciatic thing. Oh man, when I got my 2 knees done at the same time, it didn't hurt as bad as this pain.
Wow.
There's no relief from this.
And those pills aren't helping? No, the medication doesn't do anything for it?
Nah, it helps a little bit, and I don't want to get a high.
You don't want to do too much of that shit.
Yeah, I don't want. I got too much to do. I can't be gaga. I'd rather just be in pain than be stupid.
Yeah, you'll be a space captain.
More stupid.
More stupid, yeah. No, you don't need that.
No, I certainly don't need that. I got, but the reason I got pneumonia is because when this back pain started, I couldn't move, and you're paralyzed, and the only way you could sit down is if you take them pain pills, and then you got to put your leg up, you got to all kinds of, and then you wind up not getting up, not moving around. That's the worst thing for me because I have to be moving all the time because of when I get pneumonia 2 times a year. I've been doing that for 80 years. But you can't move around and cough up all that stuff. It just lays there, and then it goes into my bronchial tubes and everything. I get bronchial pneumonia, double pneumonia, and then to top it all off, I got now they give me a nerve pill. They give me a nerve pill and a pain pill. Another kind of pain pill, and now I'm taking the antibiotic Levaquin, which wreaks havoc on your ligaments, and tendons, and everything. A lot of people can't take it, but it's the only thing that helps me. So we'll see. Let's talk to some of the folks we got on here.
Yeah, when you come down, look who's on, John Platino.
John Platino.
Yeah.
Where is John?
Boy. He's, I don't know, about 5 or 6 down.
John Platino. John
Won a lot of races with Johnny.
Hi, John.
2 times.
Hi, John. Yeah, we watched all the races he raced.
Yeah. He drove, did very well for me.
Yeah.
Very well. And we had fun. We just didn't, it wasn't just business. We were friends. We still are friends.
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He's a really good guy.
He always was. A little bit of a ball buster, but a good guy. But we all were. That's all we did.
Him and They had some crew of young guys there. Johnny Platino, John DeSimone, well, Catello Manzi was a little bit after them, a little bit before them.
Before, yeah.
And let's see who else. A couple of good ones. Brennan, George Brennan, Rico's kid. Yeah, it was a good bunch of guys. Good young crew coming up. And,
yeah, we had a lot, especially when we went to Pompano one year. It was me, Dominic, John, Charlie, Ralphie Gigante. We used to go out every night. We had a ball. We had so much fun.
That's right. Ralphie Gigante. In fact, I got Ralphie his license in Pompano.
Yeah.
And that's he won his first race ever. He won on the horse that I bought for him. I forget the name of the horse.
Was it something Bird or?
Colonial Bird. Yeah,
Colonial Bird. Yeah, some bird. Yeah, it was a bird.
Yeah, that was the race when somebody. The horse had a little problem with his feet. So I says, you know, the best thing to do. I says, we're not going to race till the nighttime. I says, so put a poultice on his feet. You know, from the knee down, just poultice on, put him in that burlap bag, you know, the old bag that we used to have. Just make a big poultice. It's going to look ugly, but it'll take all the soreness out of his feet, and they'll harden up by the time. You know, we'll wash it off in the morning and just take him for a nice walk, and then
dry out. Yeah,
and the feet will harden up by the time the race comes at night.
Yep.
But somebody who's always right. They called his father. It has somebody close to the family. They called his father, and you know, that night, that the day before when we put the poultice on. And I think I know who it was, but I don't know for sure. But he come over to the barn. He saw us putting the poultice on. I was showing Ralphie how to do it with the bag and put it up from the knee down. You know, like one big gooey mess, but it did the job. And the next thing I know, that afternoon, that morning, we were working and everything. And right around noontime, here comes a car pull up, and it was Ralphie's father. And he says,
That's all you needed.
You in the office. I says, what's the matter? He said, you made my son buy that lame piece of shit. He says, I'm going to tell you something. I says, what are you talking about? Who are you listening to? He says, who am I listening to? That fucking horse better win tonight. And and that was the time when Ralphie I put Ralphie down to drive, but he couldn't drive because his license didn't get there.
Oh.
So they switched the drive to me. So he says, this fucking horse don't win tonight. You're going to have a major problem. Only he said it in much more language, a lot sweeter language. So anyway, and he said, that's it. I don't want to hear nothing. So I race the horse and I win. In fact, I think I showed the picture because I told the story once before. I win the race, and
saved your ass.
And well, that's what I mean about unnecessary pressures that just come on you. You know, even when you can handle pressure good, at least give you like 5 minutes of get a hold of yourself and you know, trying to explain. There's no fucking explaining. He just. You better fucking win tonight. Don't say a fucking word. You can't even, you know. So anyway, he won.
No defense.
So now I tell Ralphie after the race, I says, Ralph, we got to get rid of this horse. I can't deal with this because this horse can't win every week. And I know you don't want to lose the horse. You're going to take him out of claimers. You're going to put him in condition races where he can't win. And then your father's going to come here again. I said, we got to sell. So anyway, Ralphie, he's down to driving the following week. I says, right after the race, I have him sold, Ralph. So Ralphie's first race, he drives him and he wins, pays over $100.
Wow.
And Aura, who I was saying at the time, she bet on him. Ralphie used to love her. They were like mother and son. And he was so excited. And I sold the horse to, I forgot his name. And he come down to buy the horse. Ralph wouldn't sell him. I says, Ralph, you're going to get me killed over this fucking horse. He says, I'll take care of my father. Don't worry about it. And he did. He took care of everything. And
yeah, because I remember he had him for a while.
Yeah, he loved that horse.
Yeah.
It's just like anything else, you fall in love with a horse. You put him, you raise him where he don't belong. You take him out of claimers and you put him where he fits. But where he fits, condition wise, he don't fit. Yeah, he don't fit talent wise. So, but anyway, it worked out. He did the same thing with me, Ralphie, with a trotter called Victory something. I forgot the horse's name. A trotter. He wanted to buy him, so he says, Larry, you want to go look at him for me? I says, yeah. Same thing happened. His father comes up to Monticello. He says, you okayed this horse? He better, same shit, he better win. I said, Jesus Christ. I said, Rob, does your father know that this is a maiden trotter? I think a maiden 2-year-old trotter, a 3-year-old.
Oh, man.
I says, the reason you were able to buy him is because they could never keep him flat. We fixed him up. We got him trotting. And this was before he got his license. And now, and on top of that, all he got the fucking rail with a green trotter. So on a half-mile track. Same shit happened. Anyway, he won.
Oh, wow.
Somebody's going to get a hold of me. Oh, you know who breaks my chops all the time? Gregory Peck. Every time I tell a story about he says, every story you won the race. Well, there's only about 10 fucking stories I could tell. Out of 5,000 races I raced, I won 5.
You got to rotate them,
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
Read some of these comments.
Okay, let's go down the comments. John, nice seeing you, John.
Yeah, I'll talk to you, John.
Okay. Michael, good evening, gentlemen. How are you? Can we discuss the retirement of one of the greatest drivers in the history of the sport, Mr. Wally Hennessy? You're 100% right, and the only reason I don't want to do it is because I don't know that much about him. I raced against him very, very little, but I do know that he's a phenomenal driver, and he did things that probably not even the best in the business did. Won more races every year than anybody consistently for 10, 12, 15 years, and did a lot of super things. I'm not because I wasn't around him, and he was mostly in Pompano and Saratoga. I was nowhere near them places except a few times in the winter when I raced against him. But I don't want to do him a disservice because I don't know that much about him. But one day we will do it when I have somebody on, like maybe with Billy O'Donnell and them guys. They all raced against him. They all knew him well. I didn't know him well, so I all I knew is that he was great and well sought after.
Well, he's got 12,000 wins. He win like 70, 80 million lifetime earnings.
And a nice guy. They say he was a nice guy. He was always nice with me, But like I said, I didn't know him that well. Okay, let's see here. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Michael, and everybody else that's out there. Have a good turkey day. Okay, Vincent. Hello, gentlemen. Larry, thanks for the medical information. I believe I convinced my friend to move forward. Well, good, because you don't have many choices when you have cancer. There's not many choices you have. And the sad part about it is the doctors, there's a lot of stuff out there that either alternative treatments or stuff that's not really approved yet that they don't tell you about or they can't tell you about, and they just go to the same thing for the last 150 years. Chemotherapy and radiation. That's it. Okay. Eric, happy Thanksgiving, Larry. Is Sundance okay? Haven't seen her lately. Sundance is okay, I think. She's coming over my house in one day in December to watch my dog. I'm going to a Christmas party that my cousin's throwing, and I have to go. So I'll be going to the Christmas party, and she'll be watching the dog. She'll probably pop on, but sometimes she don't go to sleep till 5 o'clock in the morning. So
Oh God.
she's still sleeping.
At 9:30.
She falls asleep. Angelique. Hello,
Angelique.
everyone. Hello, pretty lady. Okay. Manny. Hi, guys. Why is it showing the whole name when somebody comments? Why is it showing the whole name? I don't know.
It's whatever name you put on, that's what it's going to show.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, which it's you put the name on. It's like me. I put my name on there. It's going to, whatever it is. It doesn't make up a name for you. Whatever name you put on there, that's the name it's going to show.
I don't know. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, Steve.
Happy Thanksgiving.
David Arthur, good evening and happy holiday. You too, David.
You too, Dave.
Manny Cigars. I like that better. Manny Cigars. Larry, did you watch my race? Well, you called me 3 days ago and you said as soon as you hang up, you're going to send me all the information. I'm still waiting for the information, Manny. So no.
Yeah, and if he gets it, he can send it to me, and I can convert it or get it converted over, and we can show it.
I told him that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Tonight I'm going to a wedding. I'm going here. I'm going there. Tomorrow I'm going.
See, Manny.
As soon as I hang up, I'm going to send you all the information you need with the name of the horse, the name, what race, what track he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how to get onto his account so I can watch the race. And that email, that text never
came.
So Manny,
Never made its way over.
I couldn't watch. Manny Cigars, have a horse racing at Yonkers in 10 minutes. Wish we could watch it live on the podcast. Oh, me too, but you can't do that. I don't know how the hell to do that.
It's got to be converted over, Manny, to MP4. That's the problem. So the race has to be over to convert it.
Yeah.
You can't convert it live. It's StreamYard that restricts us from doing stuff like that. Okay.
Henry Hackle. Do you remember Dave Handel?
Yeah, of course.
Do I remember Dave Handel? I certainly remember Dave Handel. Dave Handel, the first time I met him was the first time I raced at Roosevelt in the late 50s or early 60s. I forget what year it was. I met him then. I met him after I got that big write-up. He was one of the guys that came to me that wanted me to train their horses and buy some horses and everything. But it was right after that I got thrown out from Tannenbaum at Yonkers. But yes, I knew him then. And then the next time I met him was probably 10 years later. He drove up to Monticello. And he found me, and he says that I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail for 3 years for income tax evasion. He says I sold all my horses. There's only one. I only have one left, and I can't sell her. She was a horse who I named my first wife after. I named the horse after my first wife. And it was her horse, and the horse's name was Helen's Adonis. So he says, I remember you from when you first come to Roosevelt. I heard what happened to you. He says, and I'd like you to, if you would, take care of this horse till I come home. So I said, sure. So that was it. So when he came home, it was 3 years. And he came home, and I had the horse. I raced the horse like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just raced, just kept her good shape, and and back, got it back in class where she didn't have, even if she won, she wouldn't have no effort in beating the class. I got it back down to, I think it was back down to C2 or something like that. So I don't even remember. But anyway, when he got out of jail, he come home, and I told him the horse was in, and he came up that weekend, I think, and I bet a few hundred on the horse, and the horse win. And I gave him all the money. The next day we went out and we got him all new clothes because he lost a lot of weight when he was in there. Got him all new clothes and got him a car. I got him a suite at the Concord Hotel. I got him 2 hookers for the night in the suite. And I think I give him 5 or 10,000. I'm not sure. I don't remember. And that was it. And it wasn't that long after that he come to me one day. It was right around the 1980 or 79 or something like that. And he says, "There's a friend of mine I want you to meet." And his name was Aaron Wagman. And Aaron was the guy that he spent millions and millions of dollars on horses. The only problem was that Davey wound up staying with me, living with me down in Florida, and he was buying all the horses. And he'd buy a horse for 20,000 and charge Aaron 100,000. And what was I going to say? What am I? It's this guy. So after he bought about 10 of them. I says, "Dave, you got $1 million worth of horses here that ain't worth $5,000. I says, you can't. This guy's your friend." But Davey was a serious gambler. Sports, gamble, bet, and horses too, but lost all the money betting sports. And he was living with me at the time. I built a home in Inverary, in Florida, a big house, and he was living with me. And I knew what he was doing, how he was betting, what he was betting. I mean, when I was betting, I bet a lot. He was equal to what I was doing, hundreds of thousands every weekend. And he just every time the weekend come, so I says, "David, at least buy some well-bred mares, so at least we could breed them." I'll say the horse went lame or broke down, or at least we can breed them and get. I says, "But you got to stop this." I did a whole podcast on this. I says, "You have to stop. You can't, not only Aaron's a good guy, He says, "Yeah, but I'll get killed. I'll get there." And I knew what he was going through because I went through it. Plus, it was his friend, not mine, So I can only beg him to stop. And thank God Wildwood Jeb came along, because everything else he bought wasn't worth half of what he paid for it. And I had a whole barn full of them.
Did he own He's My Brother? Who owned He's My Brother? Do you remember
that's
that?
Right. That was a horse. That was I had that horse.
Okay, because my brother took care of him when Pat Quagliata had him for a while.
Well, the story with Pat Quagliata. I won't say anything bad about him because he has a pretty good reputation, and he's dead. So, but I will just say this. I started out with Pat Quagliata at Ambiter's Horse Farm in 58 or 59 or something like that. And at the same farm was Jerry Pacino, Ronnie Ingracia, Pat Quagliata, a couple other guys. And so I knew Pat. Pat was a very, very sharp guy, very, very smart, brilliant guy. In my opinion, shouldn't have never been a trainer. He belonged in the white collar league. He was brilliant. He was smart. But anyway, he was at Liberty Bell, and he wasn't doing well. And I was overloaded with horses. Davey would never stop buying horses. He kept buying them and buying them and buying them. And like I said, thank God for Wildwood Jeb, because Wildwood Jeb kind of took the heat off of everything, even though Aaron would never complain. Aaron would never complain. He just bought a package of horses for 600,000, and not one of them would race, and he'd never say a word. So that's the kind of guy he was. And at the time, he was working on getting a presidential pardon because he put the horses under his attorney's name, Joel Weinberg, Big Willie Farms. I got investigated for that whole thing with the Racing Commission, the FBI, BC, everybody investigated me because they knew Aaron was, Aaron just got out of jail. He was in jail for all the basketball games that he fixed. He just got out of jail. He started up a company, photo promotions. He made millions and millions of dollars. And so anyway, now Aaron's got 30, 40, 50 horses all over the place. I have my barn. I bought a barn at Sunshine Meadows, 40 stalls. That was full. Then he wanted to buy some yearlings for Aaron. He made a deal with the sales company that he would get a kickback, and he'd make a deal with the consignor, how much you got to get for this horse, anything over this amount, he'd give back to me, and all them kind of deals. And I wound up with 15, 20 yearlings. That is unbelievable. And I hired Fred Bradbury to break them all for me, because I just didn't, it was getting bad. So now you're only allowed 30 stalls at any racetrack. And I had too many horses. So I go down to Liberty Bell and I get a hold of Pat Quaglietta. I called him up. I made arrangements to meet with him. And I says, I'm going to send you down 10 horses. This is Aaron, horses on the Big Willie Farms. Bill Aaron, he'd pay you right on the spot. He's a good guy. And I'm going to give you a couple I could win right out of the box for you. And that's what I did. And that was it. He's my brother. He's my brother.
Yeah. I don't know if Miller's effort was his too. But I stabled with Pat.
Didn't your brother work for me when he took care of? He's my brother.
No, he worked for you when he took care of Wildwood Jeb after Jeb got hurt.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, and he was in Sunshine Meadows with you.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. He worked for Pat in the Meadowlands and Yonkers, because we stabled together, Pat and I, for like 2-3 meets. And
but it's I don't know who wrote the law. I don't know if it's being courteous. I don't know if it's being respectful. I don't know when they say you don't talk bad about the dead. But if we wouldn't talk bad about the dead, there'd be no history books.
Yeah.
I mean, somewhere along the line, somebody got to know the true story of the man that most in the business idolized. And it's hard. It's hard when you get like a double bang from somebody that you know, somebody that you trusted, and somebody that you helped. And then they try to stab you in the back. It didn't work, but it's very, very hurtful when these things happen. And he could have got anything he wanted from me, anything. He didn't have to do what he did, and what he did was shitty. And it didn't work. The guys I was with, Aaron and Davey, they were very loyal to me, and it's heartbreaking. It deflates you, when it just deflates you when you're so disappointed, you don't want to believe it, and then you hear a phone call. I was in his office one day, Aaron's office. He had a big business, and Pat had called him. He put him on a speakerphone, and I heard the whole conversation. So it wasn't that's not true. I heard the whole conversation. So anyway, but he was.
I always got along with Pat. The only thing I didn't like what he did one time, which is really no big deal, is that when we were stabled in Yonkers, he says, I'm going to the racing office. You want me to drop any horses in for you? I says, yeah, see if there's a class for Neville Noble. If there is, drop them in the box for me. So the horse gets in, the program comes out, and he's listed as trainer. I says, Pat, what happened? You know, why'd you put yourself down as trainer on this horse? He says, oh, it was just a mix-up in the race office. He says, you know, I don't know how it became a mix-up. But the horse won a couple of races with him down as trainer. And I don't know, it just struck me funny that it shouldn't have. I don't know why that happened. It's stupid, but I just didn't get it. I didn't get why he was down as trainer on my horse. That I was listed as trainer before and after that. I don't know why those couple of starts.
It's sad that things like that happen. Not only Pat, but Pat lived 10 blocks from me in Jackson Heights growing up.
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun with Pat, I have to say.
He was a nice guy. He was a good
nice guy. He was funny. We laughed our ass off all the time.
There's two sides to everybody. And
Yeah.
and that's the truth. And
Yeah.
and it you know it is what it is. But when it happens to you, it's very, very disappointing.
Mm.
And that's why I always says, if you grow up and you get good marks and you wind up getting a good job and you marry a beautiful girl and you have kids and you have a good family life, you never know that outside in the real world, it's fucking treachery. It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you live the kind of lives like we live, that we're all over the country 7 days a week, and you're dealing with owners and other trainers, and you find that you get educated real quick.
That's for sure.
To watch your back.
Yep.
Especially in the situations that I put myself into because of my addiction.
Yeah.
It's and then when you think you have a handful of friends and that handful quickly, when you're in trouble,
There's nowhere to be found.
Handful to one or two, and sometimes they're your relatives. Anyway, okay, let's see. Manny, Yonkers track is a complete mess, and here's our friend Joe Guarino.
Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Sorry, guys. What up,
That's
Nick? My neighbor was in Publix shopping for Thanksgiving, and a FedEx truck hit her in the parking lot.
Oh.
And she couldn't move her car. It was all busted up. So she called me like 7:30.
Oh, so it was her car, not her.
No, yeah, the car, but she was all full of groceries and stuff, and they have to tow the car. So I might have to leave for 15 minutes at some point if she calls, but
yeah, no problem.
I had to help her out. I had to carry all this stuff up, and I'll put everything in my. Anyway, hello everybody.
I sent Ron a link, but he didn't. I guess he's out again.
He might be busy.
But I sent it.
Yeah, Ron couldn't make it. I think he might have went somewhere for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So,
and Eddie got the flu.
Yeah, I know.
And I have pneumonia, and I have bad. They sent. Oh, you would know about this. They sent me to. I have next on the 3rd of December. They're either going to cut the nerve, or freeze the nerve, or numb the nerve, or something.
Okay.
And I had to stop taking the pain pills. That's why I'm bouncing around, because I'm taking too many of them things. And it's not that I'm afraid of getting addicted. It's just that I don't feel good. I don't feel. And yesterday, I had to go down to South Jersey after the doctor, and I met with a guy that was going to make the hoods for us. Very, very smart kid. And I brought a horse's head down there. I brought a bunch of samples. I brought a couple of the blinkers that I made. And
a mannequin horse's head.
Yeah.
Too many people watch The Godfather.
Yeah.
Anyway, I talked to him for a couple of hours. A really very, very smart kid. Really smart. And what he was doing prior to this was making them knapsacks and handbags and all of that kind of stuff. So he knew about sewing, but he's very, very smart. And I brought down a bunch of different hoods that I bought maybe 10, 12 hoods, all different people. And some from China, some from Taiwan, some from Big D's, who gets them from Taiwan. And in the harness shops in Belmont, they get the stuff from Big D's. At Big D's, I paid $55 for a set of blinkers, and at the harness shop in Belmont, it was $85. So what happened to Joe?
I don't know. Might be having technical difficulty.
Poor Joe, he's going through a tough time with his father. That poor guy.
Well, at that age, you know, to go through the surgery he went through, it's tough.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to Henry Hackle, a friend of Morty Finder. You're a friend of Morty Finder? Good for you. Morty Finder. Well, let me tell you this about Morty Finder. Morty Finder came to me when I bought the barn. No, he came to me in Pompano Park. Him and Lou Guida. And every year, Lou Guida, he was the vice president of Merrill Lynch. And every year, Lou Guida would put together 10 syndicates with, I think, 10 people in each syndicate. Each of them put up $100,000. And so each syndicate was worth $1 million. And he gave them to 10 different trainers. And I was one of the trainers. So I became very friendly. And he used to send, I remember this like it was yesterday, certain things. He used to send Bob Bonney and Marie Monahan all around to all the tracks that were training their yearlings. And Bob Bonney would come with Marie Monahan, and they would write down this. And I every month I would get the best reports at mine. So it was during that time we become very close, me and Morty, who owned Pine Hollow Stud at the time. And it was at that time when we went out to dinner, me, Davey, Aaron, Morty, and he says, you know, I have to tell you something. And that's when he told me that he was responsible for me getting thrown out of Yonkers when I went and had that horse classified and I got beat. And he told me the whole story, what happened, how it happened. And he used to sit at Yonkers Raceway. He was partners with Marty Tannenbaum, who owned Yonkers. And he would sit in Yonkers Racetrack every night at his table. He had one or two of his friends with him. And they would all bet together. And he told me just like this. He says, yeah, he says that when your race came up, Marty Tannenbaum called me at the table. He had his own phone at the table. That's when they didn't have pay phones in the racetracks. And he says, yeah, we bet on the kid. We bet 10,000 on the kid. And the kid was me. This was in the 60s, early in the 60s when I first got thrown out of Yonkers. And the horse had won 3 or 4 in a row. And it was the first horse I bought for myself. And I fell in love with the horse. So when we got to Yonkers, I went into the race secretary, and I forget who it was. But he told me, he says, I think it was Gibbons, something like that. I don't remember. So anyway, he tells me, he says, you know, son, he says, you're making a foolish move. This is a claimer, because I claimed him for $2,500 off Anthony Abatello. I think I win the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s. I went 3, 4 in a row with him, and I didn't want to lose him. So I asked him to put him in a condition race. They had ABC back then. So he tried to talk me out of it, but I says, let me try him in there once. And I did. And that's when that's that race that I did a podcast on that once. And I was sitting third, I think, and going to the half. And the favorite was on top. And there was a long shot in between us. And I either had to come first over, go into the half, or Delinsko pulled his usual 3/8 pole move up, And I sat in. I didn't want to go head and head with the favorite in a B. I think it was B3. They had to classify me B3 because he was older than 5. And so I figured I'd just sit in and hope I got out down the stretch. Well, I sat in, and down the stretch, there was not an inch of room. And I crossed the wire right on the guy's back, the driver's back, who won the race, the favorite. And he told me, he says, when that happened, Morty says, we got stiffed, this fucking kid stiffed the horse and everything else. And that's why as soon as I got back to the paddock judge told me, the judges want to see you in the morning. He had called the judges. They gave me 24 hours to get off the grounds. And he told me that story. I never knew why. I never knew why I got thrown barred from Yonkers and Roosevelt and every place else. But that was a story. So he told me that story. And so yeah, I knew Morty Finder. I know him pretty well. I have an article that somebody sent me, a newspaper article, where it's another guy, he's dead now, but somebody sent me this newspaper article. I should have it here. I should have put it up, but I didn't. But I have it here in case anybody questions this, that Morton Levy, who owned Roosevelt Raceway, when they were having all these investigations, all the investigations were started by Morty Finder. And when the commission went to him, he says, I don't pay any attention to that guy. He says all he does is he complains, he's a gambler, he complains. And it's right there on the Morty Finder saying all of that. So that's what he did, It was okay that, he had pieces of horses with all the top trainers back then. And it was all right that he had an edge. But if somebody else had an edge, and he didn't know about it, he report you. Anyway. Okay, let's go. Merry-go-round racing again tonight. Tony Bologna. Merry-go-round racing tonight. Okay, surprise, Ray is still driving in this weather. There's nothing wrong with this weather. It's a little cold and a little...
It's good weather.
I would give up. I would give all the good days to have every day just like this, and not the winter months up in Rockingham or Monticello.
Yeah. Batavia.
Oh, God, Batavia. Them days, God, it was below zero and
windy,
below zero and everything. Oh, it was tough. That's in Green Mountain. I broke my arm. I never even knew it. It snapped right in half.
George so cold.
Yeah, it was so cold. It was the 9th race. It was the last race. They didn't have no ambulance. They had no. Well, first of all, the ambulance couldn't. It was a joke. But anyway, so George Sadowski picked me up and he walked me back to the room. The dressing room was the last race, and he helped me off with my suit had my colors had like an inch of ice on them because I was in 4 or 5 races that night. And he pounded all the ice off the zipper, took it off, and he helped me get it off. And when he took off the right arm, right here in the middle between my wrist and my elbow, was snapped in half. It just went plop. And then he takes me to the hospital. You know what the hospital says? Our X-ray technician is gone for the day. You have to come back tomorrow. So they straightened my arm out. They put a brace bandage on it, and I had to go back in the morning. So racing and weather, that's, 40, 50 degrees out there, and a little rainy and a little
nice. Refreshing.
Yeah, it's refreshing. I have no idea what it's like to race in the Green Mountain when it started to thaw. How they floated the track. You know how they floated the track? With tractor tires that were chained together on a big tractor.
Oh, man.
Mud was halfway up the 10. It was about a foot deep. It was a joke. But that's the shit you go through. Okay, Manny Cigars. Tony, I am in a tough race tonight. Oh, the race should be over by now. Well, maybe he'll tell us what happened. How about Eddie Cobb? Eddie Cobb. He was something, Eddie Cobb. He was something else. If you knew the inside scoop of Eddie Cobb, it's sad that I think he died broke. But he had a couple of real good horses, a couple of New Zealand horses, Australian horses. But he was something. He had a little bit of a gambling crew behind him, and he would take them horses would take these drops. And one time we tried to pull something on him, and we caused a recall because usually the last flash, his horses would go from 8-1 to 2-1. So we wanted to see. So I forget who it was. It was one of us caused the recall just to see the last flash. And sure enough, the last flash dropped, and we cashed the bet along with Eddie Cobb. Question for Joe, if he comes on, did you get to watch Age of Disclosure movie Friday? We Are Not Alone. We Are Not Alone. That must be one of them spooky movies. John Higgins, if that's really Patino, hey brother, that's really Johnny Boy. That's
it's
really
Johnny
him.
Boy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tony, hopefully the 5 pushes the 1 mile little, what? Hopefully the 5 pushes the
I'm
1.
doing a little for you. Ray can work out a trip.
Hopefully the 5 pushes.
I guess in his race, in Manny's race.
Yeah. Okay. Manny Cigars, horse just got claimed for 60,000 at Yonkers. Well, horse just, I guess he's saying his horse just
Maybe his horse.
Announcer is absolutely horrible. Where did they get this guy from? Manny, it was your horse that got claimed for 60,000. Tony, the 5 is definitely a front runner. Manny, many terrible announcers today, not like old days. Tom, yeah. You know who was really good? Jerry Glantz.
Oh, yeah, I like Jerry Glantz.
That's the kid that does paddock reports from the Meadowlands. Larry, I'll bet you when Bob Baffett or Safi
Joseph dies, they will say, "Oh, what a nice man."
Oh, what a nice man. Yeah. Like now I feel bad that I said that about Pat and about other,
Didn't say anything bad about him.
Well, but if you don't talk about the dead, how the fuck would anybody know? You never know. You'd never know nothing. You think Hitler was the Santa Claus or something. I mean, maybe they mean if you're friends with the guy and he's dead, he could be a real somebody that child molester, but you can't say nothing bad about it. But I got a friend of mine that wants to come on to talk about one of the leading guys in the whole country. And I won't let him do it. I said, you can come on, but I mean, because the stories are so horrendous that it's not just like, let's just say, Joe entered the studio. Okay, let's see.
All right, guys, I'm back. No more problems.
Okay.
Everything's done.
You all right?
Yeah, I just had to help this lady. She
well, we don't see your picture.
I don't know.
So anyway, this guy wants to talk about the whole racing world knows him.
Who's that? Me?
No. I can't mention his name. But the whole racing world knows him, especially here in Jersey. And but the stories about him, I won't even let him. I won't let him come on. I won't let him say it. It busts a lot of people's bubble and opinions of him. But that goes for 15, 20 people in the horse business that I could talk about that.
Hmm.
Also in the thoroughbred business too. But sometimes they're just a little whatever. Okay, Manny's horse was sitting in the pocket of 26-1 and broke at the top of the stretch. Okay, so Manny's horse made a break.
Yeah.
All right, we still don't have your picture, Joe.
I don't know what's going on. It's not like I didn't do this a million times. Oh, there we
you
go.
go.
All right. All right.
Michael Sizer says that Manny's horse was sitting in the pocket of, I guess, at 26-1 and broke at the head of the stretch.
Hmm.
Okay, I guess it wasn't his horse. I got a claim. Look good, made a break. Okay.
Look good, made a break. That usually don't look good.
You had a horse, man. Look like Ray from the 80s blasting off the gate. Well, if you have a horse that has speed off the gate, that's where you want to be in the mud.
Mm.
You know, that's another thing, people that never drove a horse before. You know, when the jockey's riding the race, they have 5, 6, 7 pair of goggles that they keep throwing off.
You got a finger.
Yeah. Yeah. And just picture yourself sitting in a hole with a ton of horse. You can never, you could try to reach it, you know, and then they come out with these screen glasses, but the mud always it just goes through them.
Them too. Yeah.
You know, it's just so try going into the first turn at 35 miles an hour, inches apart, and being blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no fun in the mud.
Okay, Manny, even better dipshit. Even better with that. I don't know, Manny. Jordan is not driving tonight. Manny Cigars. Awesome that he fought to get to the top and finish back. Typical dipshit. Oh, Manny certainly tells it the way it is, don't he? Awesome that he fought to get to the top and finish back. Tony, I don't know
why he left the gate. You think he could have retook?
Tony, I don't know. What's that mean? I
don't know why he left the gate. You think he could have retook?
I can't tell you, Manny. Ray left hard and good. Absolutely, Barnett wanted to sit third. Why the hell would anybody want to sit third?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. No passing lane.
You see 3/4 stretch, he was looking to run over Staten. Typical dipshit Staten. I remember when he was first coming up. He was a big, tall kid. He was just a little kid. Must have been 15, 16. His father worked him to death. Jeez, he worked right there. He deserves the good luck that he's having, the kid. Worked hard to get to that point. Looked like he hit Stratton's wheel watching replay. Henry, yes. Well, maybe it's looking like Ray Snicker hit the guy's wheel. That's why the horse made a break. Let me go back and watch it. Okay. Hanover Shoot Farm. Retake would have been tough. Yeah, especially in the mud. Everybody wants the top. Satch Werner was a good man. Satch Werner in my young days cost me the biggest bet I ever made in my life on one racehorse, $10,000. And when I give my father the $10,000, my mother says, "Well, why don't you bet it to finish second for place?" He says, "Mom, mind your own business. I don't bet to lose. If I'm going to bet, I bet to win." I had the 8-hole with Chester Direct. and I come charging the gate because Satch Werner had the rail. And I knew Satch Werner right down the road. He don't care if Jesus Christ was on the outside. He ain't letting nobody go. So I took a shot. I knew I was going to get a monstrous price from the 8-hole, and I took a shot. So I coming around the turn from the 8-hole, all the guys that drive know that the wing goes very, very fast around the turn. And then you hit the straightaway and it levels off. It goes the same speed. So if you want to leave out of there from the outside position on the half-mile track, you got to come charging the gate. Well, I was off.
You got to time it.
And you got to time it just right. But I did time it just right. But the starter yelled, "Get that 8-horse up here," and he slowed the gate down. So when I come charging, you know, he should have went on, but he didn't. And my horse rammed the gate and jumped back, made a couple of bad steps, come right back pacing again. I managed to catch the gate just as the wings opened, but Werner took me to the quarter pole, and I finally got the lead from him. But had that not happened, I would have made the lead before the turn. And that was the day I had to borrow 25 cents off of Dr. Feraldo, Joe Feraldo's father, to get back over the Triborough Bridge. It was a quarter at the time.
Man.
I bet 10,000 and I got beat. I finished second, and Joe Feraldo beat me. I was in front by 4 lengths halfway down the stretch at Yonkers. And I look at the tote board, I see 4-1, 9-2, and I'm calculating in my head how much money I won. And I hear the crowd roaring. And I look over and I see a left-hand whip coming. And sure enough, one of them 10-minute, they asked for a print, you know, back in them days. They asked for a print, they asked for everything, and 10, 15 minutes later, they put him up the winner.
It was Anrock's Dream.
That's right. That's the horse. How did you know?
I know.
That was the horse, Anrock's Dream.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was a good mare.
And so when Joe, after the race, I went upstairs and I went to see his father because I wanted to see Joe. And I says, so Joe comes and I says, I come up here to ask you for a quarter to get back home. And
at least he gave you the quarter.
Well, they thought it was a joke. I went and found my father and got the tickets because back then it wasn't one ticket. It was the ding, the ding, the ding, the ding.
Yeah, yeah.
And he says, so Joe says, you should have said something. Yeah, okay. He was a good guy, Joe. After he retired, he bought a limousine. He moved to Florida, and he drove the limousine.
Satch Werner was a hunchback, wasn't he?
What was that?
He was a hunchback, wasn't he, Satch Werner?
Satch Werner was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
A little Hungarian guy.
Yeah.
Didn't care about nothing. Just wanted to go right down the road. I got to open up the window because I'm sweating. Them pills are killers. Anyway.
What pills? You don't take them no more?
I'm trying not to take them today because I'm taking too many pills.
Don't flush them down the toilet.
No. If they kill this thing, whatever I have, I'll give you. I don't like taking them.
No, just because
I wake up in the
sometimes I got to wait days for my prescription. I know there was only 5 milligrams. I got to take 6 at a time of those. But there's days that they run out of the prescription and you got to wait and wait and wait. Thank God last time they gave my father some when he had the knee surgery. You know, it got me through a day. His whole bottle got me through one day.
Wow. No, if they're able to get rid of this pain for me, I'll send them pills right over.
You have to send them to me. You give them to me at the Roseville Raceway reunion. I'm going to try to come up.
Oh, good.
You're going to go, right?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
I think they took my picture off the stable gate there, so I'll go.
Yeah, you should be all right by now. You're not even in the post office anymore.
Yeah.
America's Most Wanted.
Statute of limitations. What a joke. What a joke. Larry, how did you like the video I sent you Saturday? Where you stayed with your old buddy Alan Seawall at Johnny Sess's Rock Pit. It brought back a lot of memories. That's right where I stayed when we raced at Hialeah and Gulfstream. John Sessa, who's a billionaire, I think he did something like he paved the whole Florida Turnpike or 95 or something. Big business. And he had this big.
He paints highways.
Yeah,
he paints houses. He paints highways.
He had this big, I guess hundreds of acres, I guess. And Roy sent me a picture because he's friendly with John Sessa's sons, and he sent me a picture of the whole yard and everything and where we stayed. We stayed at John. He had above the garage, I think it was, or something. He had a couple of apartments up there, and me and Alan Seawall stayed there all the time we raced in Florida. Yeah, thanks, Roy. Thanks for that. That was nice. Okay. Let's see here. I remember a race with Eddie Cobb at Yonkers. The horse went off at 2-1, got nosed at the wire, and paid $12.80 to place. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It was one, but Eddie very rarely blew a bet when that would happen. He very rarely blew a bet, but this horse went off at 2-1. He got nosed out, and he paid $12.80 to place. Wow. Yeah. Eddie Cobb. David Arthur. Ray always loved leaving the gate. Yes, he did. Larry, documentary, not a movie, about 80 years cover up of UFOs, hoping Trump can reveal all flies. I don't know about that stuff. I don't get into it because I got too much else on my mind to think about flying aliens. Tommy Dimes. Oscar Barrera was the best thoroughbred trainer of all times. He could claim a horse for $20,000, move him up to 50 Claber, and in one start, win the race. Well, if someday, because I got a question here from one of the guys that always listen. They want to talk about trainers, the top trainers, ones that were successful for a short period of time, why they couldn't hold on to that success, and trainers like Oscar Barrera, and many, many other trainers, including the Hall of Famers, Woody Stevens, and all of them. I can tell you that I have stories about them all. Why, where, how, and everything else. And someday, but that's another thing, you know. Someday, why is it all right? Why is it all right to say that somebody, Oscar Barrera, let's take, was the best thoroughbred trainer of all time, but not okay to say the reason why he was the best trainer of all time. You know, why? All right, he's. I don't get it, but someday we'll talk about it. Someday we'll talk about it.
It's obvious. It's obvious why, and people come up with things. They work for a while, and you have success.
You know what I found out through the years? When I first got to Roosevelt in the late 50s or early 60s, whenever it was, there were two veterinarians there, really three. There was Dr. Steele, there was Dr. Steele, there was Dr.
Mitchell.
No, there was Dr.
Cassidy and Dr. Brennan.
Dr. Brennan. And here's the trap that the veterinarians got into. When they first invented cortisone, Dr. Steele was injecting Stanley Dancer's young horses with cortisone and racing 3 days later. So then you try to get Dr. Steele to come and do the same thing for you, and he wouldn't. He said, I'm Stanley's vet. You know, that's it. Go see Dr. Brenner or Dr. Carter. Well, Dr. Brennan, really nice guy, ultra conservative.
Ultra.
And, but he would say, turn the horse out for 6 months.
Time. Give him some time.
Yeah. He would say, turn the horse out for 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to turn the horse out for 6 months, I'm better off selling them cheap and just going on with my life. I can't be babysitting every time a horse comes back with a swollen ankle or needs a little help or something. And that's what the game became. And in the last years that I was in it, the trainers put the veterinarians in very tough positions. They says, look, we know what you're doing here. We know what you're doing there. I'm not talking now about injecting Depo into a joint or anything like that. I'm talking about Epigen and stuff like that. I mean, back then they wouldn't, if you asked, say, give me 10 cc's of testosterone, they wouldn't come back to your barn. But as an example, Ron Saray, who was one of the leading trainers for a short period of time at Belmont, not too short of a period of time, every one of his horses come to the paddock on their hind legs. Every one got 10 cc's of testosterone. Mm-hmm. And this is every week. Every week. It was a water-based testosterone, right. But and that was before equipoise and all that other stuff that
came.
Yeah, that come a little later.
Right.
But the trainers start putting the veterinarians on, and the only ones that got away with it were the big trainers that had big stables.
Right.
And I keep going back to that story with Joe DeLeo, who was my vet and my friend. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I never left the barn from morning till night. And one day he comes to me. We met every day for lunch. I have all my work done at the barn at 12. We meet for lunch. And he tells me, he says, so-and-so, a trainer with a 30-horse stable at the Meadowlands, asked me to milkshake these horses. And this is before milkshaking was illegal. They knew about it, but it was legal. Nobody knew about it. And or they were starting to develop a test for it or something. I forget. But anyway.
TCO2 test.
Yeah, they were starting to develop a test.
Pelling was using it. Dave Elliott.
Yeah, they were all using it. So anyway, he says, I don't know what I should do. I says, Joe, these 3 veterinarians on this track. The biggest one is Dr. Brennan. You're the smallest one in terms of clients. This guy is your biggest client. He has 30 horses. He spends, I know because I help you all afternoon when we're injecting everything. His vet bill on each horse is $3,000-$4,000 a month on average. So you times that by 30 horses every month. Your drugs cost you probably 5% of whatever you charge. And the rest is labor, which is getting a dab of cotton, alcohol, rub it down, put a needle in, and in 30 seconds you're done.
Iodine soap.
So I says, you got to make up your mind. If you don't do it, you're going to lose them. And that's what happened. He wound up doing it. And that's another guy now who's a good man. And in fact, you see Manny, who keeps calling, his wife is related. I think it's his cousin, because when it went over there, I think they brought the cousin to meet me or something. Joe was a good man, but he had a family to support. He had kids, trying to put kids through college and everything else. Now your biggest client says, if you don't do this and this and this, I have no choice but to switch vets, because I have to create a level playing field for myself and my owners. Now, you could play almighty God and say, I'm Christian, I'm not going to do it, but you might as well go get a job in the fucking post office then, because you're not going to have any clients left. And I witnessed all of that. and it's tough.
What
So-
does Christian have to do with it? Nothing wrong with that.
No, I know there's nothing wrong with that. But what I meant by that was that you could be the Pope, but if you make your living as a veterinarian and you don't do what they want, you better go back to being a Pope.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You got to do it. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, starting to argue with me now.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
Who?
So anyway, when it comes to trainers like Oscar Barrera, it's obvious to everybody, and Pletcher and all the top trainers in the thoroughbred industry, it's obvious to the biggest novice what they're doing. And I know for a fact what they were doing, what they were using, how they were using it, who was giving it. I know all of that stuff. I don't want to talk too much about that stuff because my invention that all of us on the screen here are involved with might take over the whole thoroughbred industry between the heat absorbing gel and you should see. Hey Joe, I don't think I told you this. I got so mad. Did I send you the thing with the ladies that refused to make the hoods for me anymore? Did I send you? Who the hell did
No, I don't think so.
Remember the ladies in Kentucky that made the blood?
Yeah.
And then they called me back and I sent it to Sal. I think I sent it to you too. Anyway, it says that we appreciate your business and we accommodated you with the 4 blinkers that you made. It was 80% nylon, 20% spandex, 4-way stretch with a special pocket made inside. We appreciate your business, but now you want us to make some more out of different material because you're still experimenting. Well, first of all, we're very, very busy right now. I couldn't make the what you want till February of next year. Plus, if you want any more than just 4 or 5, it's going to take, we can't do it. So now I get back with the people from China, with Taiwan and this and that. And it got to the point where I got so mad the other day because, and then the people, the girls, the people that answered the ad for a seamstress, one sent me, it was the one that Greg Pegg said she's a really nice girl, and she was. But I think she got a little upset with me because she made it like a big deal. She says, "Well, send me pictures," and I says,
"Yeah, you told me about that."
Fucking set of blinkers. I'm not asking you to build a nuclear plant. I'm asking you to sew a set of fucking blinkers. What do you need a picture for? You're in the horse business. Go to the barn. Anyway, she says, "Okay, let me go to the barn. I'll call you back." She never called back. So I waited a day, and yesterday, as sick as I was, I went from the doctor. I made an appointment to meet this kid all the way down. He lives about an hour and a half from me. And very, very sharp kid, young kid, very, very smart. Has his own podcast. Very smart kid. Knew everything about it. And I brought the horse's head down there, the mannequin. I brought old blinkers. I brought different materials and this and that. And I says, "Here, go practice. This may take off in a big way. If it does," I says, "there's 2 things that can happen." I says, "from talking to you and listening to you," because I asked him, "Well, tell me about yourself before I get involved with you," because he was one of them long-haired guys. But he's a really nice guy, very smart guy. So I says, "Okay." I says, "First of all, you got 2 strikes against you right off the bat." I says, "But I'm probably going to have to go with you because I can't. I don't want this to stall me for months and months and months. I got to get this thing going. I'm almost there. I got to get it going." So he says, "Well, what's the 2 things against me?" I says, "You don't have a car. You ride a fucking bicycle. You live an hour and a half from me. That's the strikes." I says, "So," I says, "if you were my next door neighbor, we would sit together 15 hours a day making different blinkers out of different material, on and on and on, different ways. I'm going to have my own logo. I'm going to make my own brand, and it's going to be out of material that's not from China. And all of these blinkers come from China. And he says, well, why would you want to do that? I said, because China wants you to give a hundred minimum order, and they want you to pay up front. And if you want it done with this, there's a company here that inspects all linens and everything made that's dyed or made from compounds, and they clear it all. They make it like completely non-toxic. Well, all of these blinkers that come from China, it's made with China material. And when I asked them, I says, can you make it from the material that sell in this country? There's 5 companies that sell the material that goes through this company, whether it be for medical uses or what. But they have polyester, they have spandex, they have all kinds of material. And the Chinese people says to me, and the Taiwans, they says, well, you're going to have to give us a minimum order of 100. You're going to have to pay double what we normally charge, and you're going to have to wait double the time because we're going to have to order the material from the States and everything. And that's when they says, you know what, fuck this. They ain't going to hold me fucking hostage and all that bullshit. And that night I went downstairs, and with me yesterday, I built my own, in 5 minutes, I built a template, I built a patent, and then in the next 5 minutes, I cut one of the 4 blinkers that the women made for me in Kentucky. I cut it right in half. I just cut it right down the middle because I have a seam down the middle. I cut it right down the middle, and I showed the guy, here's how I made this patent. Here's how I did this. Here's how I did that. Here's how I did. The only thing I'm not happy with any of the blinkers that I bought, and I must have bought 20 of them, is that behind the ears, they all bundle up. They don't care nothing because they think the bridle holds it down. I says, what I need you to do is create a 3-dimensional thing and figure out what seams you have to put where. So behind the ears, it's still skull tight, even though the blinkers will hold it down. And he says, I know exactly what you want. That'll be no problem and everything else. And then I told him, I said, see what the problem is, because now I'm going to buy this material. I'm hoping they sell it in New York. They have a factory there that buys the material from this company and that cleans it up. And I says, I'm going to buy a bunch of material, and we're gonna make it. Now, in order for me to do what I want to do, I got to drive 100 miles. I got to drive 100 miles just to get to you, and then I got to sit with you, and then we got to do this. I says, now I'm going to do it, but it's just a pain in the ass. And that's how everything works with me. Because every fucking move I make is like climbing a mountain. Now, instead of having somebody in the Lyndhurst area who's a seamstress, I gotta get on the fucking turnpike, go all the way down to exit 7, and go another 30 miles after that. So I says, it's a pain in the ass, but I'm going to do it. I says, and if this thing works, I says, what I was planning on was hoping that you were the kind of guy that have your own company, because I'd make a deal with you. I'd make a deal. You buy the material, you pay all the expenses, and you just make the product for me, and I will pay you wholesale for it. But you can't do that. So that means I have to pay you. I have no problem with that. In fact, I think I like it better, because for the bullshit money I'm going to pay you in the first couple of weeks, it's going to pale in what this company is going to be worth if this thing works. So I will, when I get the material, I'll call you up, we'll make a date, I'll drive down to your house, we'll spend all day together making until I'm happy with the way it fits. I already brought the head down there, he already took that. And that's it. And then I says, when we start making these hoods, I'll pay you from that point on, whether it be by the day. It can't be by the blinkers, because we're just going to be fooling around, making them. No, that ain't going to work. Forget it. Start anew. So I'll probably pay you however you want for the day or for the week. And then once we get it going, and once we get the okay, Then we wait for the orders to come in. Now, once the orders come in, and let's just say the first order is for just 100, you're going to have to hire some people. I'm going to have to hire people. So then when I see that this thing gets serious, we're going to have to hire, we're going to have a storefront, and but it's going to have to be closer to me. Well, it don't have to be closer to me because everything was going to be okayed by then.
Why do you need a storefront?
Put 15, 20 machines in there.
But rent the storage unit. You got a 15 by 20 storage unit. It cost you $500 a month. Why do you got to spend thousands for a storefront?
The only thing is climate. You gotta get a climate controlled one.
Yeah, air conditioned.
You got to have people working for you, sewing on a sewing machine for 8-10 hours a day. You got to have bathrooms. You got to have showers. You got to have air conditioning. You got to have heat. You rent a storefront for a couple of $1,000 a month. If this works, it's going to work in a big way. If it don't work, it don't work.
And a sweatshop.
Yeah, so far it's.
I mean, they got warehouses like that. You can rent for minimal. They got showers. They got offices. They got everything.
No, let's hope that that's the only problem we have. We've got a long way to go before that. So anyway, that's now you guys are kind of up to date on where I'm at with that, and that's basically it. I want to show you something, Joe. Every day I get one of these. Here's another one. See, there's a big difference between AFib and vertical. I can't say the word fib. One is instant death, and AFib it's not instant death. That horse there winds up. He lives. That's just AFib. That's just the heart sending the brain sending a million different signals out, and everything is screwed up.
I got AFib.
Yeah.
Número 7.
So I don't know how. And I have a great line. I hope I don't have to use it, but I will, because and I'm going to say it. And if Heisa really starts giving me a hard time, which I hope it don't happen, I'm just going to say I just have one question. You told me all your concerns and everything else. I just have one question. I says, and it's going to be something like this.
Think about what you're saying.
Yeah, I think about it. I know, because I'm going to be in front of them. I know. But what I'm going to say is true.
Yeah, but
you're doing everything to try to protect the horse, and good for you. Good for you. But I don't see how an eighth of an inch more or less on a swedge on a shoe is going to help a horse from breaking down or anything like that. Along with all the other changes that you make, whether it be riding or training or whatever. Now, if you're okay with thousands of horses dying every year, if you're okay with that, then just say I can't use it. But just remember that even the smallest thing, like a set of blinkers that are being manufactured in China, in Taiwan, and they all are. Every one has made in China, made in Taiwan.
Mm-hmm. Are poison.
They're made from chemicals that are toxic for horses, and who knows how many positive tests were made, and nobody knows why. They can't find any drugs. They can't find anything. Could it be these toxics that they with the material how they make the material, when they dye the material, when they do all of these things? I have a list of almost 50 of them that would cause a positive test. When a horse sweats, especially if it's cotton or polyester or whatever, it leaches when a horse's skin gets to be 105 degrees. Everything becomes wet and sweaty. It leaches into the skin. Right there. Could that be? Now, if you're happy with these horses dropping, and you know why they're dropping from heat exhaustion, from AFib, from heat, from humidity. You know why it's happening. I'm giving you something that even if all the gel breaks, there's nothing in there that can hurt a horse as much as the blinkers that are on horses today that you approve.
Yep,
Now,
everyone.
if you're happy with this, if you're happy with it gets you sick. So anyway, that's it. And as far as the money part goes, I got it. Let's see. I had to talk. Manny called me the other day. I was in Staples, and he says to me, "What are you doing in Staples?" I says, "I'm buying material. I'm buying a patent material. I got to make a patent." He says, "Got to make a patent of what?" And I told him, I says, "I realize that I have to set these blinkers up myself." I'll tell you exactly what I told him. I have to make these blinkers myself, which is okay with me. Fuck China, fuck Taiwan, fuck them all. I'll make them myself. They make it sound like a big fucking deal. I says, they don't know that I'm the kind of guy where if you say, "You see that empty lot across the street? You build a 6-story condominium there and have it done in 3 months. You know what? It'd get done."
In 2 months.
Now China's going to hold me hostage over a set of blinkers? What are you kidding? If I was in better health and everything and a little bit financially secure, these things would be on a racetrack already. I says, so I'm talking to Manny now. So I said, so I'm going to do it myself. I says, and what I need is probably, I mentioned the amount, and I says, I'm at the point now where I'm gonna ask friends or family or whatever for this amount. And he said, "Good luck." And that was that. And we hung up. So that should answer a lot of questions. So anyway, and I'll get the money. I'm not worried about the money. When you get very, very creative when something, at least I do anyway. When something has to get done, it gets done. So that's it. You know, Anthony, we said we were only staying on for an hour.
I know.
It's been an hour and a half. Is there any?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pack up for tomorrow.
All right.
Where you going tomorrow?
I'm gonna go on a steam locomotive through the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's like a Christmas thing. It's like a Christmas train.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah.
All right. I see the same regulars here, so I'm not going to answer any questions, folks. I can't stay on too much longer. What's this? Michael says. Michael says, "Larry, never compare Oscar with Pletcher, please." Michael, if me and you had dinner one night before we got to dessert, you'd agree with me in whatever I said. I'm not comparing nobody to nobody. I'm just saying you got to know the whole story. And the only way to know the whole story is to be involved with the whole story. And I can tell you I was involved with the whole story.
All right, guys, I'm going to go. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Okay. And everybody here,
everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Safe. Eat a lot.
and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks. All right, guys. I'll see you. Joe, I'll give you a call.
Anthony, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
thanks.
Sorry I came on late, but I had to help this lady.
All right, let's get rid of Anthony. I'll talk to you, Ant.
All right.
And maybe next week you can get that thing on.
Yeah, I will for sure. Yeah,
about my
definitely.
life. This way
Yeah,
you'll
I have it. Yeah.
it'll
Okay.
be very entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
That's that thing I
Okay.
sent you, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it.
What's this guy say now? Steve says Oscar Barrera is a safe distance from the greatest trainer of all times. Okay, and I think Steve is the guy that's in the thoroughbred business.
Yeah, that's Eddie's friend.
Yeah, right. Okay. So the rest of it, let's see what Tommy Dime says. Larry, get a group of investors together to help you. You know so many people in the business. I can't do that. I can't do that because I I'll wind up. There comes a point in time when you begin to prostitute something that shouldn't be prostitutable, and
Prostitutable.
I just made that word up.
That's a good word.
Yeah, prostitutable. So when the time comes, the little hump I have to get over, it just come at a very bad time for me, but I'll get through it. And I don't want to go around nickel and diming everybody. When the time comes, I know 2 or 3 people I'm going to go to for large amounts of money and farm and create my own company that nobody's going to be able to match, whether it be in performance or price. And for that, it's going to be involved a lot of money, a lot of money. Until then, I'm 3/4 there, and the amount of money I need is just, in my opinion, just bullshit money, and I'll wind up getting it, and I'll go on from there. And this way, when the time comes, the only people that will own this company is me and the people that you see on the screen here every week on Tuesdays, plus Freddie Hudson, because they were all in this with me right from the very beginning, and through them made a lot of connections. Through them, they gave me the drive that I needed at the time, and because I've been working on this thing for 30 years. And when I resurrected it because I didn't want to think about my movie thing anymore and dealing with the Hollywood bullshit, I got back involved in this. And so if it works out like it's going to work out, why should I get a group of investors? Now, if Tommy Dimes, if the group of investors you mean is putting together like a syndicate, and each of them put up like so raise like $1 million, that would probably be enough if this gets approved to probably take over the whole industry. But and I think I have 1 or 2 guys, especially in the thoroughbred business. You go to one of these multi-millionaire owners and you say, look, I'll give you half the company, just put up whatever we need to form this company. We're going to need a warehouse. We're going to need a secretary. We're going to need everything. We're going to need to package this stuff, ship it, the whole bit. I know what we need. It's going to cost a lot of money. And to get to that point. Now, once it gets to that point, you'll have revenue coming in, and you'll be able to, you'll be able to pay some of this back. But to go nickel and dime anybody, but Tommy Dimes, if you have people that are interested in getting into a situation where I along with 4 or 5 of my friends that are in the horse business, one is a serious guy that knows what the hell he's talking about. He's encouraging me to go on with this and hurry up and get it going. But like I said, I don't want to ask. I don't want to nickel and dime it, and I don't want to bring people in because they put up 5 or 10,000. You got a piece, and then when it comes time for the big investor, see, if I was in a business like a Lou Guida, I would put together a syndicate and say, look, we're getting in the harness business, in the tack business. We're going to make blinkers, but we're going to make blinkers like nobody else has. They're going to be infused with heat absorbing gel. That's going to keep the brain cool, and you won't have these things dying of heart attacks or AFib or heat stroke or anything like that. That whole thing will go away. Now, Tommy Dimes, if you have somebody that some wealthy guy, or you could put together a bunch of guys, then we can talk. My phone number is 201-400-3485. And when you call, if you do call, text, because I won't answer the phone. If you're not in my contacts, I won't answer the phone. Just text me, say I'm Tommy Dimes, and I have what you want. And then we could meet. I will tell you and your people all about what I'm doing and what stage we're at. And like I said, I have a lot of money invested in this up to this point myself. So anyway, that's it.
And time.
I'm going to pack it in because it's 9:30 and I'm not doing well sitting here. You know, do you get this? 1 minute I'm soaking wet with sweat, next minute I'm freezing. What the hell is that all about? Anyway.
Do you wake up sweaty in the middle of the night?
The other night I woke up, I was so cold. I went outside on the deck. It was like 30 degrees and I was sitting out there in my underwear. And then I cooled off. I mean, I warmed up. I was freezing. When I was on fire, I went out to the deck. Then I come back in. When I come back in, half hour later, I had to turn the heat all the way up. I start freezing. It was going back and forth, back and forth. And I asked the doctor the other, because I went to 3 different doctors in the last couple of days, and they said to me, the only thing one doctor says, well, you know, what you're telling me, I don't know. The only doctor that said something, he says, well, you're taking a lot of narcotics here, and maybe it's your body reacting to whatever. But it only happened that one night. But now it's happening. But now it's because I'm up in this room. The heat is on. I got this winter thing on. I just opened the window, but things will calm down. But I don't know how young people live with this pain like you. I don't know how the hell you do it, Joe. I don't. That's a terrible, terrible thing. I thought my knees were bad.
It's been like that for years, Larry.
I don't know how the hell you do it. I
just get used to it. You take the medication, you get a little relief, and you appreciate the relief for a couple hours. You know, the thing is, you can't sit too long, you can't stand too long, you can't walk. You know, you can't do anything for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're paralyzed. Sometimes you feel like your bone is so brittle in your back, it's going to snap. You're scared to move. I got to grab a tree or a car or whatever's next to me, a person, you know, because I'm scared to move. If that pain is that bad.
Yeah.
But
well, mine is not that bad. The last 4 or 5 vertebrae or whatever you call them, they're all crushed, and the nerves that go through each one of them are all pinched.
They're compressed from the concussion, the bouncing the horse all your life.
And then the on the back side of your leg up here, oh God.
The sciatica.
Oh, it's so.
I know what you're going through.
And I'm pretty good with pain, but this is nonstop, not relenting. You know, at least with your knees, you put your knee up, you don't move, it don't hurt. But this is no matter where you go, how you sit, stand, sideways, this way.
When are you getting this procedure done?
I got to go on December 3rd, I think. He said. I just got the appointment this morning.
They're gonna put you under, right? When they do this?
I don't know. But whatever he
tell him you want to be sedated, Larry.
Whatever he wants me to do, I'll do.
Tell him to put you under. It's simple. It takes 5 minutes, because if they get close to a nerve, that's a terrible pain.
Yeah.
And they got to give you 2 injections, not 1.
All right, Joe.
Well, when we're off there, stay on for 1 minute.
All right. Okay, folks, I got to go.
Good night, everybody.
I got to go. I think I got Tommy Dime's answer. He says, good luck. Well, thanks, Tommy. Thank you. I'll keep everybody on this, because now I could talk about it because I got the patent. So now I could talk about it freely. I don't talk about it that much because it's for people that don't know what I'm talking about. It's boring to them, but I'll get into it. In fact, you know what happened today? This movie producer called me up. He's a teacher at Columbia Film School or something like that. And he calls me up and he says, listen, he says, I read your book. He says, the biggest thing out there now, he says, it's very hard for any of the big studios to get a movie made or a TV series. He said, what they're doing now is they're doing these little things where
Documentaries.
You're little, yeah, that 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, where you just like, you're the horse fixer or something. And you go to the barn and we film you at the barn and you talk about how to patch a quarter crack or how to do this or what this thing does. And what's that? And he says, and all of a sudden you put it all over the place. And he says he would do it all. He would film it and put it all together. He says, and as soon as you get 1 million or 2 million followers, these networks, they just come right at you. He says, and that's what's going on now. So he's going to meet me after Thanksgiving and see what happens. See what happens with that.
Yeah, look into that. Go.
Well, he's going to come to me.
Yeah. Follow up on that. He's right.
All right. Let's see. Eric says, take as many hot baths as you can. I'm afraid to sit down in the tub. I won't be able to get up. All right, Joe, I'll talk to you. Oh, I'll stay on with you. We're going to close this thing out.
Okay.
How do I do this now? Okay. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.